to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show!
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline number 235. That is 4.5 years. Every Monday,
Wow.
We get on YouTube and we talk about doing deals. We talk about being real estate entrepreneurs. We talk about building businesses. Sometimes we talk about personal things. Sometimes we talk about what we like to invest in outside of real estate. Today, it's just Jamil and I.
What's up?
Boom. And we're doing this. Jerry's in Oklahoma. Pace is in some top secret meeting.
Yeah, he's got he's who knows? That guy when you're like Pace,
Yeah.
right? You take over the world.
Yep.
You got to plan that.
Yeah.
Right? So he's got to plan his he's got to plan his next the next planet he's going to occupy.
Let me throw something out.
Yeah.
All right. Just to warm up our show and warm up the audience. Let's say you had to start a business and you had to go direct to seller.
Okay.
You had to go direct to seller. I can't talk to any sellers. How would you build it? How would you start going? How would you get your first deals? And how do you see the structure of it looking? Just, because you've really focused on building a huge disposition company, a huge cash buyer database that you find really great wholesalers or agents or investors that want to sell their property fast. You match them up with the buyers. But now let's take that all away. Let's say that you have to go direct to the seller. You have to be at the kitchen tables and or on the phones with them to get a deal. How would you do it?
Great question. So can I ask you, are there things that I get? Like, do I have access to lists? And do I have access to all the regular
you get all that stuff.
Direct to seller.
They just
information.
The federal government just passed a ban on JVs.
Okay,
joint venturing
or
assigning and
working
assigning
with agents.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I have to go belly to belly.
You have to go belly to belly.
Well, I think for me, just on my own personality, I would be looking for sellers that I can solve the deepest problems for. The biggest problems,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm going to be looking at lists that are going to highlight for me like massive pain points. That's going to definitely be pre-foreclosures.
Yep.
I'm going to hit those hard. The probates, probates,
Mm-hmm.
pre-foreclosures,
Mm-hmm.
and expireds. I think if you have those three lists, you have a plethora of leads. You've got problems to solve.
Yep.
You got low-hanging fruit with the expired listings because those are sellers who have raised their hands, but they were unsuccessful.
Mm-hmm.
So I could go there and just see if my number would make sense for them as an investor to seller offer.
Yeah.
Right. That would be probably the first route that I'd go is just expireds.
How would you get a hold of them?
I would be going to Vulcan 7, which is where you get that list, and I would use their skip tracing in there. And
They have a great dialer.
They have a great dialer. I'd be calling them up, and I would just say, "Hey, look, I saw that you had a house on the MLS, and your real estate agent wasn't successful in selling it. I'll be 100% honest with you. I think they really mispriced it.
Mm-hmm.
But are you still interested in selling the house? Because if you are, I'm not a real estate agent. I'm a buyer. I'm actually the guy who's going to write the check. And I want to know if you want to do a deal directly with me. Let's cut all this fat out of the situation. Mm-hmm. Let's get all of these people that are trying to eat off our plates off the table. Let's just do a bit deal, you to me.
Yeah.
Here's my number.
Yeah.
Right. And I would call all of them and I would give them my cash number. That would be, in my opinion, the first low-hanging fruit, because those guys could say yes today, right? That's not going to be the same follow-up game that you're going to have with probates and pre-foreclosures, expired listings. These people are ready to sell now. So that's going to be my first 2 hours of the day.
I think it also builds up confidence, because you're talking to people that actually had put out there, hey, listen, I wanted to sell this house. I just didn't get the price that I wanted.
Correct.
Right?
And so that's why I feel like it's the lowest hanging fruit and the easiest list to call on.
Yep.
I think next I'm going to go to probates. I probably spend a couple of hours there.
Yeah.
And that would just be flexing my compassion muscle, right? Like really, really wanting to talk to people and getting to understand who the individual who passed away was to these people, what the family and the estate is trying to accomplish with the estate, and seeing if there's a way that I can be of benefit or be of service and benefit them and me in the process, right?
Yeah.
So I would start those conversations off. Those aren't going to be immediate contracts. I'm not going to be calling a probate list and getting a deal under contract today. That's going to be an initial conversation. That's probably going to be
Would
3,
you
4,
learn
5.
the probate process? Would you, if they needed to go through probate, would you go down to the courts and help them file those things? You know what I mean?
I absolutely would.
Yeah.
I think, look, the person who's willing to do the heavy lifting or connect the dots, or for instance, in my situation, I'd probably refer them to a probate attorney. And that way, you know, one of the ways for me to really get in the good graces with probate attorneys, and I'd want to actually do these calls first. I'd probably call a bunch of probate attorneys first and say, hey, look, I'm an investor. I work with a lot of people who are doing probates and need a referral. So I would lead with my cold calling to probate attorneys with, I'm going to bring you business.
Yep.
What's the best way for me to funnel it to you? Then I would massage in the, hey, by the way, what can I offer on that you have control of right now, right? So I dangle the carrot. I'm going to bring you potential files, because that's going to make
you get paid during the escrow too?
Yeah.
The attorney.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I can pay the attorney's fees right out the gate. Like I can work it so that the attorney feels like I'm their solution provider as well. Because a lot of the times these personal representatives, they're not in the greatest financial situation themselves.
Right.
And they don't have the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 that they might need to do the probate or the time. So I will put myself in the situation where I say, look, Mr. Attorney or Miss Attorney, I'm here to do business. I'm here to I'm here to buy the property, but I want to be of assistance in everything that you need help with to get them to that point where I can be the guy who buys the house. So do they need money to pay your fees? Do they, you know, whatever they need in order for me to connect the dots for you, I'm going to do that. So that's going to be my first positioning that I'm going to create with respect to the probate attorneys. Now that I've got a bank of probate attorneys that are all wanting to work with me, I'm going to start calling the probates themselves. And I'll say, listen, I've interviewed and spoken to some of the best and some of the worst probate attorneys in the entire state. And I can help you. I can help you navigate who's going to rip you off, who's going to give you a great deal, who's going to defer payment, who's going to do all of the things. And I because I know them all. So you and I should meet, or you and I should talk, so that I can kind of help you through this process. Now, you want to know what my incentive is? My incentive is, ma'am, I want to buy the house. So yeah, I'm here for something, but I'm going to help you a lot in the process.
Yep.
Right. So that's going to be the next third of my day, is calling those probate leads, connecting the dots, and really trying to be the go-between between the probate attorney and the personal representative. And then I think on the final part of my day, I like to end my day on a positive note usually, right? And pre-foreclosures, you may look at and say, well, what's positive about that? Well, what's positive about that is you can actually save somebody from foreclosure.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like, you know, for every day that I get to wake up in my home, every day that I get to have the life that I have, I'm grateful for it. And now I have an opportunity to sit there and talk to somebody who's not in that situation.
Yeah.
So it really could be something awesome where I get there and I'm like, look, my goal is to help you save this house, or my goal is to do this, or keep you in the house a little bit longer, or get you into a great rental. So I'd probably save the last third of my day for the real superhero work, where I'd be like trying to save families from terrible situations and being thrown out on the street.
Yep.
So I'd want to end my day like that. Low hanging fruit to start. Second thing, I'd be connecting the dots between, you know, probate personal representatives and probate attorneys. And then lastly, I'll be a superhero for the last 2 hours of my day. That's how I do it.
Love it. Sounds wildly proactive.
Absolutely.
Doesn't sound like you need a huge budget.
No,
Right.
no, not. I wouldn't need really a budget at all. A lot of the things that I was just saying right now, I can do without having to spend any money.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just build the momentum, build the relationships, build the income.
Absolutely.
Love it.
And guys, the reality is, right, is that you can, I mean, start to finish on a expired listing list, you can get a deal in and done within a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah.
On an expired list,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this doesn't have to be something where you're like, oh, I'm not going to get paid for 90 days, or I'm not going to get paid for months, or I got to do all this extra. Like if you're an instant gratification kind of person, or you're like, I just need to see some results.
Yeah.
Okay, find the list that'll give you the results.
Yeah.
Right? An expired listing list will give you an immediate result. You can actually do that. On markets, if you get those things well negotiated, those are properties available now that you can wholesale today.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that right there is instant gratification. I can see the actual results of the work that I'm doing.
Yep.
Then once I have a couple of those things going and I've got some of a pipeline built, then I'll start doing some of the longer plays, where I'm going to like a high equity list and I'm really trying to, cast a wider net.
Yep.
Tired landlords, things of that nature. But I'm really going to focus immediately on solving these problems. What are your thoughts on that?
I love it. I mean, I called a lot of expired listings, right? As an agent, I was trained, you call the canceled, the expireds, and the for sale by owners. And the number one question that came up from expired and canceled listings is, are you the buyer? Are you a buyer? Or are you just another agent trying to list my house? Because what happens is as soon as a property goes canceled or expired, they can expect just depending on the market, between 20 and 100 calls from real estate agents trying to get that listing again. Maybe a little bit less now that Keller Williams got slapped with some pretty big lawsuits on calling some of those properties. But I think that you wait a couple days, maybe even a week or two after it's expired, and then get after them. I think it's really strong.
So you think like right out the gate, it's overwhelming for them?
You're white noise.
Okay.
You're white noise. They're trained to hit the power button twice or whatever that shuts down the call. You know what I mean? On your phone.
Yeah.
So I think that having a little bit of breathing room after that, maybe even 30 days, maybe even 60 days after they've let it all settle down and now they're back in the same position that they're at, that they want to sell this property again, but they're being realistic about the price. I think that'd be good. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think canceled listings as well.
Yeah.
I think canceled listings, I think for sale by owners, I think expired listings.
FSBOs, I'm a little bit less bullish on. Not that I haven't wholesaled for sale by owners.
Yeah.
I just think that, the for sale by owner seller, their mentality is not all the time really like coherent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with somebody whose opinion of everything is mine.
Yeah.
I don't want an agent listing my house and making money off me. They don't believe that anybody adds any value to
Do
them.
it yourself.
Yeah, they're that guy, right? Yeah. And they're usually living on Mars when it comes to pricing.
Yes.
And so, for me, like I would probably not call FSBOs just because I'm like, if I wanted to talk to crazy, I'd call X's. I don't need to do that.
I just think it's it's kind of I think it's an easier conversation to have when somebody wants to sell their house, that they want to sell their house. And then you can try to, maybe they're not realistic about that property, but they might be realistic about a piece of land or something that's, they just inherited in the middle of nowhere, or something that's, a rougher property. There might be a second avenue there besides just the property that they have listed. But again, the mentality is I want to get every nickel out of this deal, but you found that oftentimes with canceled and expireds as well. It just depends on, catching them at the right time and seeing if they do want to trade price for speed and convenience. Yeah. And that's what we do.
Another list because I've done direct to seller, guys. I know I talk a lot about agent outreach and a lot about wholesaling, and yes, that's the majority of my business. We do direct to seller, and I have personally had those calls. I have personally been belly to belly with sellers in their homes signing contracts. I've done that before. Pace and I have been on appointments together.
Oh yeah.
One of my favorite lists is for rent by owners.
Yeah.
And that's one that not a lot of people ever even think
Yeah.
about. But
Fantastic.
But I go to for rent by owners. I'll go to Zillow and I'll just look at anything that's been on Zillow for rent for like 60 days ish, right? And I just call them anything that's not being managed by a property manager, anything that's being self-managed. Call those people up. Now, here's the reality. You're not usually going to get them to agree to want to sell the house that they've got listed on their for rent on the Zillow website. But if they're a landlord, they probably have a problem property.
Oh yeah.
They got one problem tenant. They got one problem property that's been giving them all kinds of heartburn. And that's what I'm going to be trying to get at, right? So I'm going to be calling them saying, hey, I saw that you have this property for rent. You're a landlord, I take it. Look, I don't want to waste a lot of your time, but I'm looking for some properties to add to my portfolio. I want to kind of be like you when I grow up one day.
Yeah.
Do you got any problem houses that you want to get rid of? Like anything where you got squatters or just really problematic tenants that you're just tired of, or they're trashing your house or anything like that? Not that I wish that on you, but if there is something like that, I'm a problem solver. So what do you got?
Yeah.
And maybe they're like, no, I don't have anything I want to sell. And I'll say, okay, before I let you go, are you actively adding properties to your portfolio right now?
I was just
because you might not have anything to sell me right now, but I
double dip.
I come across stuff that I can't take down sometimes, or that isn't going to work for me, that you might want to take, and I get great deals. So how could I send you those? So I'd be coming after them, and that right there, friends, is one of the most efficient ways that you can call, because I just hit 2 out of 1. I called for a seller lead, and then I get a buyer lead at the same time.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Double dip. Yeah. So I like that with affordablehousing.com. It used to be Go Section 8, right? And affordablehousing.com, you look and it's all of the listings for Section 8 housing, but it has the owner's information on there. And I'm telling you, they will have a problem child property.
Always.
If they've got a bunch of these properties and one of them's just a total nightmare, it's not going to be the listing that they put on affordablehousing.com. It'll be one that, is coming up at some point, or they're fixing it up, or they're going through and evicting somebody or whatever else. Those are the ones that you get. And if they don't, you've got a great buyer. Yeah. Not only that, but like there's a hierarchy of cash buyers, and flippers are down here, buy and holders are up here.
Oh yeah,
they're going to pay more.
They pay more money, right? Because their exit is completely. Look,
can we get that? Can you find that, Matt? I'll pull that up.
We've been, my sister and I are super bullish on the co-living model, right?
Yeah,
we've been killing it on our own rentals. We've been doing them for other investors now,
like pad split.
Yeah, but we're not using that platform any longer, just because the fee structure doesn't make sense anymore. They kind of, anyhow, great people.
Sure.
But the model itself, my goodness.
Renting rooms. As
rooms.
Opposed to just the whole house.
Yeah. And doing it strategically and doing it in a way that is really, 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 really dialed in.
What's the value of these properties typically?
Well, I'm usually entering around the just sub 300, like 275 to 290.
Yep.
And by the time I do the renovation and I do all the things, I'm usually looking at a 430 to 450 ARV. And so what's beautiful about that is I can get in and out of a house, construction and acquisition, with no more than $100,000 of personal money into the deal. Yeah. And when I refi it, I get all that money back.
Right.
And not only do I get all that money back, but now I've got a cash flowing rental at like between $200 to $2,500 a month in cash flow. And I'm just stacking these cash flow situations one after the other. Bro, five properties in the last little while have added $10,000 to my life.
Yeah.
I have no money in these things. Can you retire on 10 grand a month? Could you retire on 10 grand a month? Could you retire on 10 grand?
Like they call that infinite returns.
But infinite returns that I got at the same $100,000. I'm rinsing and repeating over and over and over again. Right. And so.
Yeah, but that only works if you get deals, if you get good deals. People have to understand that when you're adding to your portfolio, you make money when you buy the property.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to go and recycle this money and do it,
But
I mean, you're burying them.
The deal I'm telling you about right now,
Yeah.
the like sub 300,
Yep.
you know, that's everywhere.
Yeah.
I got 4 of them on my Keegley website right now.
Yeah.
That will fit the bill, right?
Yeah.
And so our investors, here's the beautiful thing. Our buyers are starting to evolve because they're looking at it and they're like, man, hold on a second. I can get into this house. I can get all my cash out and I can get $2,000 a month in rent.
Yeah.
And have equity in the house and do this. Because I forgot to tell you guys, I'm still leaving 20% in the house. I'm leaving 20% of the value in the house still. And so that's all equity, unrealized equity that's going to be sitting there. I took my cash out, but now I've got an equity position and I've got monthly cash flow on that thing. That right there is the retirement. That's Freedom 55 right there, baby.
Have you thought about using the $2,000 to $2,500 in cash flow to pay down the debt faster?
I could, but
Jerry hates that idea, by the way. I
no.
said that to Jerry and he's like, oh, okay.
No.
What do they call who's the conservative finance guy?
Pace's best friend. Dave Ramsey.
Dave Ramsey.
No, you could do that.
Right.
I'm for me, because I'm like $2,500 a month in that additional cash flow.
Yeah.
For me, I just like the cash flow, right?
That's your sushi money.
Yes, I just, and you know, the more and more I do of these houses, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my co-living portfolio to a place where it's spitting at me $50,000 a month.
Sure.
In just gravy cash flow.
Well, think about the debt pay down. Think about the appreciation. Think about the tax benefits of it.
It's nut bar.
But you make money when you buy them.
You do.
You can't get those deals unless you get deeply discounted properties that you have to go sink some investment into to be able to get that value. So
Correct.
you're buying them under 300, but they're worth mid 4s.
Yes.
That's like 68%. Right.
Yeah. 68%-ish, 70%-ish.
Guys, go ask a real estate agent today to go find you a 68% property that's on the market. I'm just telling you, they're not going to find them. I mean, they might be able to negotiate some stuff here and there, but man, those deals, they got to be. Are these coming from your inventory that you're pulling from co-wholesaling?
They're coming from my inventory.
Astro Flipping.
Yeah, and I got students selling me deals. Yep. I'm buying them from my company. Like I actually buy deals from Keegley like anybody else buys deals from Keegley. I got to pay the wholesale price. It's what it is, you know, because I got acquisition people that got to make their money and all the things, right? So I got to do my part. But there's lots of them.
Yeah.
There's not a shortage of these kinds of opportunities. Now, here's the real play is now that I'm starting to shift my buyer mind, right? Now my buyer is not looking at this as like, oh, this is a flip I could only make 30 grand on. Because, you know, a 290 house with a 430 or 450 ARV with a big renovation in there might only spit out 30 grand in profits for a fix and flip. So an average fix and flipper is going to look at that and be like, I'll wait. But what am I doing? As I'm actually saying, no, don't wait. You got 100 grand sitting around right now? Yeah. What are you going to do with that? Well, I'm going to wait for the right deal. Well, this is the right deal. Here's why. You're going to put it in for 6 months and you're going to take it out in 6 months. And then after that, it's going to spit $2 grand a month at you forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Why are you letting the 100 grand just sit in your account? Buy this deal. Got it. I'll take it. So now I'm converting deals that may not have been the best fix and flip opportunity. And I'm turning it into a buy and hold opportunity with a cash flow incentive that's making the buyers drool. So it's a new deal lens, right? You can't, guys, by the way, I'm going to be talking about this at Clever Summit. So if you guys aren't coming to Clever Summit, you're going to miss out. It's on Friday, September 13th to the 15th. It's coming around the corner in Hollywood, Florida. I'm going to be talking about deal lenses, right? The different perspectives, the different ways that you can look at deals and present deals to sell deals that you wouldn't have been able to sell if you had just sent it out like, here's a fix and flip. You got to sometimes run the play. A lot of these investors need you to run the play for them. You got to show them what's up.
Well, you also have to connect them with really good loan officers that understand the play.
Correct.
Right? Because after a certain amount of rentals, you're not getting the best terms. You're going to get into some other DSCR loans that you're either going to have to put more down, or the interest rate's going to be higher.
Correct.
But they'll go forever. I
Yep.
mean, they'll let you keep buying and buying and buying
Absolutely.
and buying and buying. And
Absolutely.
especially as you start building up the equity in all these. I talk to Zach Keeps all the time, and he was on my show on Wednesday. I mean, he's got $90 million worth of equity in his portfolio.
Isn't that nuts?
$90 million
Yeah.
in a $120 million portfolio.
Crazy.
But he's just adding more. He's living off of his a little bit from the active rents, the passive income from rents, but he's still doing flips.
Yeah.
He's still doing flips.
Yeah.
To just keep the cash machine going. Incredible.
Yeah,
and so he could buy more.
And Zach, guys, Zach is like one of thousands like that, right? He's a very intelligent guy, but he's not different from all the intelligent investors that exist in your guys' markets, right? There's a Zach Keeps in every city. There's 100 of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But the model's the same. Make a bunch of money and then put that money into assets.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
And that's what you're really focused on
right now at the moment. Yeah.
So what about property management though?
Well, that's the piece my sister and I are fixing right now, is because we looked at the model and saw that what I don't like is a bait and switch. I don't like a bait and switch. And the second thing that I don't like is, okay, fine, you lease the property up for me, but who's managing the actual property?
Yeah.
Who's going to go deal with the tenant problem? Who's going to, deal with the flooded toilet? So what Pad Split did is they kind of changed their pricing model. So it didn't make as much sense any longer.
Yep.
But what Rahim and I are putting together is national property management for co-living at 20%. That is going to be not only lease up, but also management of the property itself.
Awesome.
So we find you the property, we help you with the renovation, we help you get the money out during the refinance, and then we help you manage that property and keep that cash flow consistent. So we're putting that together right now. That's something that her and I have been working on for the last.
That's a big project.
It's a big project. Yeah, it's a big project. But I got she's a killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, the three main skills as a real estate entrepreneur: number one, find deals; number two, raise funds; number three, property management.
Correct.
That's what it is. I mean, that if you're looking at all, what are all the skills? What are the different levels of this thing? That's where you're at. I mean, you look at Ken McElroy has thousands. He started as a property manager in college, learned that skill.
Right.
Then he learned the skill of finding deals. Then he learned the skill of raising capital. Now he's close to $1 billion net worth. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what it is. That's how you start really figuring it out. Is one, find the deals; two, raise the funds; three, property management.
Yep.
And I mean, you've gone through all of that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm at that next level now. The reality is I got forced into it, right? I'm tired of paying these big tax bills to the IRS. And I think that's what started me wanting to start keeping more, because I'm a consummate wholesaler, dude. I love a quick flip.
Me too.
And I like the money in, I like the money out. I like getting it done.
Low risk,
low maintenance, low headache, all those things. And then all of a sudden the IRS comes and they're like, hey, Jamil, great job last year. You made a lot of money. Send us 1.3 million, please. And I'm like, what the F? How much?
Yeah.
And what did you guys do for me lately? So, owning assets and depreciating is really the way to go.
Well, I put some money. I put, I don't know, a few $100,000 into ATMs that shoot off 22% return. I saw Joel was put some question about some of my passive income that shoots out checks all the time, and it's fully you over a 5 or 6 year period they depreciate. Right. It's just the equipment. Also, I put money with Abernathy Holdings. They build the storage units. And so right now there's 708 in that were just brand new, with 4,600 being built in the next 18 months.
Whoa.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't own all of it. Listen, guys, a lot of people, and I think that we should just let people understand, when a lot of people say that they own thousands of units, they don't own it themselves.
Yeah,
they own a tiny portion of that.
Correct.
Right. But it looks good on books. It looks good on social media. It looks good on that type of thing. Look behind the curtain on some of that, guys. But when people are building a real business that is bringing in great income like Keegley has, and all the other things that you guys are involved in, then you're able to go and buy all those assets.
Correct.
But you built the business first.
Yeah, I had to have access to the money printing machine, and the money printing machine
and the good deal machine
is wholesaling, dude. There's still to this day I know nothing. I know nothing that's better, bro. Today I did a privy masterclass, right?
Yeah. Awesome.
I was gone for a few weeks. I was at Burning Man, fun, but I missed everybody. I missed the community.
Sure.
I missed hanging out with people. I was kind of like, man, I'm jonesing for some for the community, right? So I was like, what could I do that could just be like a value add to everybody? I'm not selling anything. I'm just showing you guys a tool you already have.
Yeah.
Right. Most of the people that were on the live already had privy, so they weren't there to buy anything.
Yeah.
And we just walked it. We just walked through the whole process, right? From start to finish. How do I find a deal? How do I underwrite the deal? How do I connect to the agent? And then how do I find the buyer, all on one platform? And you can do that on Privy.
Mm-hmm.
And so we walked through that whole process. But in that, I got to hang out today with John Gallan, who you know.
Of course.
This guy 2 years ago was a CPA.
I know.
And I remember when he first got into Astro, he's like, I don't know what I'm doing, but here's what I do know. I hate my life.
Yeah.
I don't like being a CPA. I want to do something different with my life. And I see what you're doing here. Looks like it could make sense.
Yeah.
Well, he did his first deal April 15th. He closed his first deal April 15th of 2022, tax day. We shaved his beard on Clever Summit, on the stage at Clever Summit. Because he was doing like the hockey thing. He wasn't shaving until he got a deal. So we shaved that guy's face right on the stage. And today we chatted, and last month he has signed 19 deals and closed over $200,000. This is 2 years, guys. 2 years he's got a business that's spitting out $200,000 in a month.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know rentals that'll do that. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know anything that's going to be able to create that kind of an engine, money printing engine. And it's not like, he's a great dude, but he doesn't have an Einstein brain.
Well, by the way, where does he do business?
Florida.
Where does he live?
Manhattan.
Right.
Yeah. All virtual.
Right. I mean, he's doing this all on this thing, guys. This thing. Yep. That's all it is. He's just doing it all on the phone. And by the way, to your credit, he literally came in to steal your business model. Not steal, but to like literally, I should say
replicated
steal.
it.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's what I do.
And you were like, yeah,
of course.
Here you go.
Yeah. We collaborate. We JV deals together.
Yeah.
Look, the bottom line is, right, you guys are all so great. You have so much greatness in you. And I think the problem that we've had a long time before the Brent Daniels, the Pace Morbys, Jerry Nortons, before these guys with these hearts came to the table, you had a lot of people who wanted to talk to you about how great they are.
Yeah.
They would get you on a live stream and they would tell you all about how great they are.
Yeah.
How awesome they are. How much business they do. How rich they are.
Yeah.
But you know what? If your mentors, and I said this yesterday on my Mindset Live, if your mentors are telling you more about how great they are versus showing you how great you are, find new people.
Yeah.
Find new people.
Well, listen, who are your teachers? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who are your teachers? You can tell a lot about a person by just asking them who their teachers are and who they've learned from and what, model they're following, because everything's already been done. It's already been laid out. You just got to figure, it's a gut instinct, who do you want to learn from? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, I love when you came out with Astro, a few years ago, and Josiah started it, but it was really your baby.
Yeah.
When you took the helm of it, it just went but absolutely bananas. But it really opened up a lot of people's eyes to the ability of, hey, listen, if you know what buyers are looking for, you can match them up with all these other people that don't have buyers, and you can provide an incredible service. And that's what it is. And so, we start off the show, you going direct to seller. Now, if I were to just build this thing myself.
So what if I had to take away all?
Yeah, no more. Yeah.
Because you are, of course, he's Mr. TTP. He's Mr. Talk to
I'll
people.
tell you, $100,000 a month right now
in PPC,
in ad spend.
That's what you're doing,
right? Yeah.
And what's your RO?
Well, it just started in August.
Okay, guys. So.
Right?
So Brent earlier this year opened up his cost per contract.
Yeah.
He showed everybody all of his numbers.
Yeah.
And he showed us, he was like, where am I getting my best leads and my most money, and what's not returning, right? He's turned off text. He's like, that ain't working for me any longer. But my pay-per-click, he was like, look at this. And he showed us, we were like, what? So what are you, like 5X on that? 3X?
5X on PPC? Yeah.
5X?
Yeah, 5X.
So
Jesse runs it.
If you guys are doing some math right now,
yeah.
Right, he puts out $100 grand.
But there's a limit to it. So we found that like 40 grand.
It breaks at some point. Okay,
40 grand is. There's only so many people that search to sell their house fast that aren't just a bunch of people that want to sell retail. Right.
Okay.
So there's a definite delicate balancing act there. But I just wanted to say, I'm putting 50 grand into TV. And 40 grand into PPC and 10 grand into Facebook now.
Okay.
And so this is like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's a lot of money.
I mean, it is and it isn't, you know, it just depends on where your mindset is, but it's also like, I'm the outbound, right? Just go and hunt it down, go find somebody, talk to enough people and you're going to get a
But
deal,
now you're more
right?
inbound.
Now I'm all inbound.
Wow.
100% inbound for a couple of different reasons. One, way less stress on the system.
Sure.
You need way less people and you can hire really high quality people because the leads are, I mean, those are the best leads of all time.
Sure.
People searching for you to buy their house. And so I really want to build a brand. There's some guys here locally that I really look up to that are spending a ton of money on inbound and they're doing fantastic.
Yeah.
And so really pushing the limit. I think in this market, I could probably get it to 400K a month in total ad spend.
Yep.
And get, you know, three times, you know, the more you spend, the lower your ROI.
Yeah.
So I think I can get it at 3 times. And then you have $1 million a month business all coming in and you net a ton.
So then let me ask you this, right? Can you multiply that? Like, let's just say, for instance, you're at 300K. Could you bring a guy like me on who would spend another 100, and would it not be broken because now we're at 400? Or would it be like my own account, my own thing? And then does it scale in a way where, like, maybe it breaks when you go 400K on one account, but what if you did 40K on 10 accounts?
Yeah. You mean for pay-per-click?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I think that, I mean, you could spend 100,000 on pay-per-click. We could, but it would just bring us down to like a 2 to 3 times ROI. Okay. You know what I mean? As opposed to building more brand,
let's talk
more
risks.
TV.
Like what could be some of the potential risks there? Like, for instance,
well, the number one risk is overloading the system with leads.
And not being able to get to them.
Difference between like when you're starting out, guys, what Jamil was talking about reaching out to expireds, reaching out to the foreclosures, reaching out to probates. That's something that you're in control of your schedule. You
Correct.
Even said it. You said in the morning, I'm going to do this. In the mid-afternoon, I'm going to do this. And then the later the day, I'm going to do this. Right? You can't do that with inbound.
Right. I remember
somebody has to answer live if they call every time. And if you get an inbound lead that's just like I'll show you something that's a PPC lead like this, they have to call this lead in 30 seconds or they're gone. 30 seconds, right? So this is not freedom of schedule. This is you have to build your system so tight that you're responding to every single one of those leads.
How fast can one of these convert to a contract?
1 day.
1 day.
The average is 24 hours.
Holy moly.
The cash conversion cycle is everything. I mean, it's just so fast, right? And so, for example, last month we spent 100,000. This month we're closing just over 300
on last month's deal.
On last month's spend.
So 100K brought you in 300K. Bro.
Well, and then, but none of that. I mean, the only reason it's even close to 3 is because PPC's carrying all the water. TV's not kicking in yet. You know what I mean? Like there's some calls here and there, but TV's all about branding. It's all about them seeing you a bunch of times. You know what I mean? And so I just want to build something that was local, that was going to be long lasting, that
like Hopkins,
like a brand. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
And he's done a great job.
Phenomenal.
You know, and he's such a wonderful guy too,
Great
right?
guy.
He's a beautiful human being. See his billboards all over the place, right? He's a local
Commercials all the
celeb.
time. Yeah.
He's a local celeb, right? People know him.
Yep.
And he's well trusted. He's well liked.
Yep.
He does a good job. He closes on his deals. He's the real deal,
Yep.
right? And Brent's going to be the guy who comes in behind him.
That's it.
I love that.
That's it.
I love it.
So if I had no budget and
Yeah.
I can only reach out to real estate agents and I can only reach out to other wholesalers and investors, number one thing is I'm going to find my buyers.
Sure.
I'm going to find the buyers first,
Yep.
right? I'll go on to Zillow and I'll look at any property that looks like a flip.
Yep.
And I'm going to go and call that agent up.
Yep.
I'm going to go down every single morning for a month and talk to as many of the people bidding at the foreclosure auctions as possible. Phenomenal lists. Probably not. I mean, it's a little bit like, smaller than back in the heyday of
Yeah.
amount of people, but I'm going to just try to meet as many as possible because I'm telling you, those guys.
Well, they know how to close in the moment.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Because they're coming in with a $10,000 cashier's check and they don't even see the inside
They
of
also
the house.
represent dozens of other buyers.
And they got their bid service. So
Yeah.
they're working with all kinds of buyers that are really, really well vetted. So yeah, the auction is a great spot to go and find some buyers.
Yep.
Again, today on that Privy Masterclass, there's a button in Privy, bro, which is incredible. You can just press it and it'll show you a list of all the fix and flips. And it knows that they're fix and flips because it tracks when they were purchased and when they were sold.
Yep. That
they were bought at a percentage of ARV and then sold at another, and they have before and after pictures.
Love it.
And so you can literally get this whole list and write house after house after house after house. It's just LLC, 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 LLC. So I get all these LLCs of people who just flipped properties, which means they're ready to buy their next one. And all I got to do is go to opencorporates.com, find out who the managing member of that LLC is, truepeoplesearch.com, get a free skip trace right there. Doesn't cost me a dime. And now I got a buyer's phone number I get to call.
Yep.
And I'm just like, hey, bro, I'm calling you. You're a flipper in Phoenix. I just saw the project you did over on Cherry Lynn. My goodness, you're talented. So what do you got working on right now? You looking for a project? Right? One thing I learned at Burning Man is people love a compliment.
Yeah, they do.
They love a compliment.
Well, you got to compliment their house.
Compliment
and that's something
their
that
house,
I learned from you.
compliment
It's
their work.
fantastic.
Compliment their work. Everybody's got pride. Everybody wants to feel like they've done a good job. So show them, tell them.
Well, also it makes you not sound like an AI bot or somebody that's just calling, that gets paid a few dollars an hour.
That you're
a real
spamming.
professional.
Yeah, you're spamming everybody. You're calling everybody. It's like, no, I took the time to look at the project you just worked on. I said it by street name, right? I referenced it by street name, and maybe I pick out one little feature about what I really liked about that house. Like, oh, I loved that one feature wall you did. Awesome. My kids would have loved that thing. Anyways, what are you working on right now?
Yeah.
What are you buying? Where are you buying?
Yeah, those master vanities. Oh my gosh, where did you find those?
Yeah.
Those are incredible. Are
Right?
those like custom pieces? Man, you knocked it out of the park with that,
Yeah.
all that, right?
Yeah, and now
But
you
it
got this
also-
buyer jazzed up, feeling
Jamil,
good.
One of the things that drives me nuts is people are trying to skip those conversations and trying to do it with either cheap labor or AI. And it all has its place and it all has its time. But if you're trying to build real, genuine relationships with cash buyers when you're starting out and you try to just give them some glazed over conversation that a robot could do,
No, dude.
you're out of the business.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
No.
It's not going to work.
Or you fall into one of those traps of let's trade buyers lists. Guys, get the F out of here. That's not how it works. Why do you think you don't know anybody's name who does that? Why don't you know? Why isn't there somebody who's like, I'm the king of trading buyers lists? Because they don't do business.
Yeah.
They don't make money. That's why you don't know who they are.
You mean like somebody coaching it or something?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. So that's what I would do. I would first find the buyers, and then I would reach out to every single listing over the last 6 months and or active, pending, and closed. And you could pull those up on Zillow or Redfin or Realtor that was under the median sale price by significant amount. It'd probably go 60% under the median sale price. And I would just call on all the ugliest listings that I could. And I'd see if any of those agents had other ugly properties. When I say ugly, it needs renovation. I mean, when you see an ugly property, I mean, it's either totally original or it's been beat up or it's a property that needs a lot of investment. man. And I would just see, because the agents that list those, they run across more of those.
Now, I want to say something. We got Nathan Harris in the chat right now, and I don't know exactly what his buyer bot is.
Yeah.
But it's working. This guy, he's phenomenal. He's out right now living in Bali. He's like virtually wholesaling from, a swimming pool. And he apparently just assigned a deal today using it. So, not to say that these technologies aren't going to get better and that they're not useful at some level. I'm sure they are, and I'm sure his buyer bot's doing incredible. But the reality is what Brent's saying is that these relationships, they mean something. And when you can actually find, you got a handful, say 10 really solid buyers in your market that they'll always pick up your phone call. They know that your money, when you call them, your money for them, right? Those 10 relationships, that's what saved me during COVID.
Yeah.
When all of our buyers ran for the hills, because everybody was running for the hills COVID time.
Well, 2022, when interest rates went from 3 to 19 or whatever, what I mean? It felt like that.
Yeah.
Obviously not that high, but that was huge.
It was,
but I will say this: use AI as quickly as you can, because it's going to get shut down.
You think so?
100%. It's like text blasting.
Yeah.
It's literally robocalling. So I mean, use it while you can, but the carriers are going to figure it out.
Yeah.
There's just too much.
Yeah.
And there's going to be people that abuse it way too much. I mean, if you're using it and it's a really good system and it's working well, do it, but don't build your business around it. I'm serious. It can be a tool in the toolbox, but you better have other tools in the toolbox.
You're always going to need tools in your toolbox,
because there is a tremendous amount, bro. We know these guys, and they've coached a lot. Now they don't coach anymore, but they built their whole business. I mean, Jared Videlis, for example, not a coach, but an incredible real estate entrepreneur, changed his whole business model once he couldn't send out 1 million text messages a day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just the mass communication at the click of the button is always going to be under fire, and they're going to always put they're going to tighten it. So take advantage of it if you can. I don't know if Well,
the only AI that I do, the only AI that I'm involved in is the AI follow up with agents, which again,
those are commercial numbers.
They're commercial phone numbers. I don't have any TCPA situations that I got to deal with on that.
Yep.
Because these are people who have advertised their phone number to be contacted for the purpose of selling real estate, and that's what I'm contacting them for.
Yep.
It's a business use case, and I'm allowed to text them, and so. I use AI for that, and it works extremely well. Like Hugh Bew in the Astro community, he since November has done over $500,000 from his AI text follow-ups with agents.
Yeah,
this guy's out in Vietnam, dude.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, but he's got to get on the phone with them, right?
Yeah. He gets on the phone.
Yeah. At some point, you got to jump on the phone. And so I think building those relationships, I think going down, doing the extra mile is gonna build really strong muscles, and you're gonna be long lasting. Because this business, listen, you can have a great year, but you don't get into the Hall of Fame having a great year.
How many people have we seen come and go? Like
thousands.
They even to the rising stars in the game, the up and comers, right? You were like, we champion them. We're like, we bring them on the show here. We're like, come on. Let's see your longevity. Let's see you make it. And 4.5 years later, we've been doing this.
Yeah.
4.5 years we've been doing this, and we have very few of those people still in the game.
Well, listen, if you build it on the principles, if you go through your hustle season, if you get into the dirt for a while, if you're carrying water, chopping wood for a while, talking to a tremendous amount of people, and actually build the skills, it doesn't matter what technologies get turned on and off. It doesn't, because you have the ability to communicate effectively with property owners and or investor buyers that you can sell your deals to. But the relationships at the end of it, when it gets squeezed, is critical.
Big
and
time.
2022 squeezed out everybody.
It squeezed out so many.
Listen, Batch Services did that report, and there was like 90,000 wholesalers at the height of 2021. Now there's 20,000.
Wow.
Yep. That was the heyday of the text blasting. That was the heyday of jumping in and doing stuff from home and this, virtual explosion in this business. And a lot of people are out of the business. So build real skills and you last long.
And
How long have you been doing this?
Over 20 years.
Did you lose everything at some point?
Yeah.
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 Me too.
Yep. And
Still here.
You know, it happens.
Still here.
And you want to know why I lost everything? I switched business models.
Yeah.
I stopped wholesaling and I went into development, and it boned me.
Yeah.
If I had continued wholesaling through that whole thing, I don't think I would have had the loss of all the millions of dollars that we lost. Right. I literally saw a man driving a Rolls Royce with a beautiful woman, and he was a property developer in my town.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this guy looks like a thumb.
Yep.
Look at his girl. Look at his car. How do I do that?
Yeah.
And then I can look like a thumb.
Yeah.
You know, and so like I just wanted to be like him.
Yeah.
And so I followed in his footsteps, and I got hammered. The thumb got hammered.
Yeah.
You know, and I lost all the money.
Yeah.
But as soon as that happened, I was like, okay, it's time for me to become go back to what I know.
Well, something that I learned is I will get in and out of deals as fast as possible, and I will not speculate. Speculation is that's when you get chomped up.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know, that's where I see a lot of people lose their fortunes in this business, unfortunately. And then they bring it back and they learn and they figure it out and they get more and better funding the second time around. But speculation is rough, and people will pull their money from projects like that.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you guys are all looking at your thumb, wondering like, what's bad about a thumb? I mean, look at a thumb.
Yeah.
Right. It's like
It's
a
like
bald
thumb
head.
with a mouth.
You got no shape. You got just like your thumb. The dude looks like a thumb.
Yep.
You know, guys, put your questions in the chat. We got some time here. Brent and I are going to definitely be answering some of them, but what a fun conversation. So that's how you're rolling your PPC. It's going.
Yeah, PPC is fantastic. Jesse's done just a wonderful job. I mean, he was with you guys years ago with Keegley, so he had a real estate background. Got recruited to T-Tech, which was doing the ads for Google accounts. Got to see all the back end of all the great big accounts for real estate investing, and we were able to put some together, and it's worked out really well. And then building a brand. You know, just building the brand and building something that now we go on appointments, Jamil, and they're like, oh yeah, where do I sign? You know what I mean? The trust is there. The Google reviews are there. The website's there. The commercials are there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, I think it's this to me feels like a grown-up business.
Hey.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to just pounding phones all the time, which by the way would save my
works.
financial life.
Yeah, it works. Pounding the phones works, but at some point you got to evolve, right? You want to grow a team. And that's where I've seen a lot of wholesalers really screw it up. Is they'll go and they'll make a bunch of money. How many people have I seen come in and out, make 50, 60,000 bucks? They're like, whoa. Then they go and they spend all that money on hiring VAs and this and this and this, and then they're out. All the money's gone.
Yeah.
And then they go back to their W-2.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, that was fun. You know?
Yep. Give it all back. Jonathan asked a great question. How do I do business with you guys besides paying for thousands of dollars that I don't have? Very serious question. Bro, we go live.
Do deals with us.
We go live every Monday, by the way, where you can participate here just like you did. Also, I go live on Wednesday. What you got?
Yeah.
Is your comp and show live?
Yeah, I go live on Wednesdays. I comp properties on Wednesdays. I'm always looking for deals in
Straight
Phoenix.
out of comping.
Straight out of comping on my YouTube channel. Also, I do that on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, bro, do deals with me. You don't need to pay me. You don't need to be my mentee or be in my community to do business with me. I'm a buyer, bro. Send me a deal, John. Let's go.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it. Be about it.
So Jonathan, number
serious question answered. Let's go. Let's get it, homie.
Find deals and bring it to Instagram. Bring it to my email's Brent@wholesalinginc.com. What's your email?
Jamil Damji @gmail.com. JamilDamji@gmail.com.
There you go. Awesome. Let's see what we got here. Nathan, Jamil, can you talk about how you optimize your business after you already are closing consistently?
Yeah. Well, optimizing is looking at where you have inefficiencies, right? So where do I have inefficiencies in communication? Where do I have inefficiencies in organization? Where do I have inefficiencies in actual spend and expenses? And I'm going to look at the things that are the most painful first, right? So first, anytime I look at, anytime that there's a slowdown in the market or, rates jump or there's something that requires you or that makes volume kind of slow down a little bit, I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Now I can take a look at my business and see where things are broken. Right. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look, where do I have extra expenses? Look, each of us have this going on in our life. How many subscriptions right now do the people in the chat or the people in the audience or you or even I have that I don't even realize I have going on? How many subscriptions am I paying on right now that I don't even know I have? Like, we were just in a group chat the other day, and Bobby was like, no, Yvette's like, hey, this thing, who's using this thing? And all of us were like, none of us. She's like, this thing's like $1,000 a year. What the F? Right. Yeah. So it's just like $100 a month almost disappearing. And that's not just one thing. Right. I haven't watched Hulu and I haven't watched TV anymore. I got Netflix, Hulu, Amazon. I got all these subscriptions I'm not using.
What do you do at night?
I listen to podcasts and meditate and go to bed.
Nice. What time? Time do you go to bed?
10:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you go back and you're listening to podcasts, probably talking to all sorts of different people at all the times, right? Yep. You're always getting texts and calls and everything. And then you just wind down with a little bit of meditation in bed.
And that's it.
Boom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm super boring, dude.
I know. And people talk about TV shows and stuff. And I'm like, if I watch anything, it's like a YouTube on like, how did Germany become a country, or how did what's going on?
I watch stuff on like the Ottoman Empire and and like spirituality and things that are interesting to me. Self realization and things of that nature, because I like that.
The pyramids in South America is what I'm watching.
But for real though, I'm not really interested in entertainment at the moment. Right?
Yeah,
there's too much going on in the world, too much going on in my life, and I don't have time to be entertained. I think entertainment, and I'm not saying this for anybody who's watching TV. This isn't a judgment by any means. I watched TV last year, so don't think that I'm banging on anybody here. I'm just saying is that I realized that entertainment is for people who don't have enough to do. Yeah, for real. Yeah. And I got enough to do. Yeah. I got lots of things to do. Yeah. I'm you're only here for 80 summers. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right? Maybe 85 if you're lucky and you did well. Right? That's not a lot of time. That is not a lot of time. And so what am I doing watching this person on television right now? Mm-hmm. My God, that's not going to get me anywhere.
Listen, bread and circus. That's how you control the population. I mean, that's been Caesar since day one, right? Bread and circuses. That's it.
Wow.
That's all. I mean, we just
bread
have different
and
circus.
Yeah. That's pretty profound.
It is.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, kind of all over the place with this.
But yeah, sorry. With Nathan, I'm going to find the pieces that are economically unorganized or where I'm bleeding money. Then I'm going to go to communication inefficiencies. Where am I finding communication inefficiencies? Where are messages getting stuck in the inbox? Where are messages getting stuck on the outbox? Where are there breakdowns where things are taking 2 or 3 times as long as they need to take because we don't have efficient communication models? Right. Right. So then I'll start taking a look at that. And then beyond that, I really want to make sure that organizationally I got the right people in the right seats. That's it. Because I've lost, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars with the wrong person in the wrong seat. Let's be real. Jesse, who works here at TTP, mm-hmm. He was in the wrong seat at my company. Yeah. He was in the wrong seat. Look at how incredible of an asset he's become to your organization, right? Yep. He's massive. Yep. But he was in the wrong seat in my company. So he didn't excel. He didn't go to the places he needed to get to. Mm-hmm. He gets to Brent Daniels. Well, first he had to make a pit stop and learn some other skills. Yeah. He learns that other skill. He gets to Brent Daniels' world. Now this guy's got these skills and he's sitting in the right seat and he smashes it. If I had figured out that Jesse was in the wrong seat, we could have moved him in the right seat, not lost the talent, right? But he was for you. And so that's the thing, guys. You got to make sure, because you don't want to lose great people. You want to make sure that you keep the great people in your organization. And there's some people that shouldn't be there either. I had somebody on my Damji Media team, bro. Mm-hmm. As we go through and we unpack and look at the things that this person did over the year that they worked for me, I'm so embarrassed. Yeah. I'm so embarrassed that this person lasted a year on my team.
I've been there.
And that I didn't do something about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to only hire sales guys that had bad teeth. Right. Because I mean, if they like had a wife or, you know, were dating and could sell, you know, and they still had bad teeth, I was like, okay, you know, they can overcome some things. Right?
Hilarious.
Didn't work out. Actually, it's actually,
They had bad breath. You couldn't stand talking.
It was a bad theory that ended up bad. But yeah, same thing. It was like 6 months and I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What is this? You know, if somebody can close. And by the way, when you're ready to hire acquisitions, it is a natural born thing. I am telling you, the more you have to train them, the worse they're going to be. I'm just telling you, give people really good tools that know how to use them and they'll do it. But holy cow, don't try to transform somebody into a salesperson. It's not going to work. What do you think?
I'm 100% in agreement.
I mean, your team that is dispoing the most, because they're commission based on their dispo.
Yep.
That's a natural talent.
100%.
It's not like you brought in some.
Even when they're talking to me,
I know.
When Ronald reaches out to me to sell me a deal, he's doing everything. He's putting the pressure on me.
You could put 5 people into this thing.
He's like, hey, just wanted to let you know I got 3 other people on there. Shut the F up. I trained you.
It's my deal.
Why are you using me against me? But he's doing a great job of it, so I can't complain.
Yeah. Ingrid, you're wrong. Steve Trang's always been a good salesperson. I've known him for a long time. Don't fall in that. He went through the Sandler sales training program.
Steve, I actually just had lunch with Steve the other day. Steve's doing phenomenal. He's not doing wholesaling any longer though. Yeah. He's strictly sales training. Yeah. And he does a phenomenal job.
Oh yeah.
You can bring Steve into your organization and he can, I mean, he's very, very, look, he's one of those guys that doesn't have a really good knack for creating emotional connections with people because he's a freaking robot, right? Like if you talk to Steve Trang, it's like, he's like kind of like a robot. He's a beautiful robot. He's a wonderful man, but he doesn't have a lot of like, you know, he's not going to be like, hey brother, I love you. Yeah. You know, he's just not that guy. Yeah. But he knows how to sell. Yeah. And he gets it done.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, guys, listen, if you don't, this is all just my experience. If you want to hire people and train them up to be salespeople, go for it. Prove me wrong.
Cool. Do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Go for it. You might go broke though. I'm just saying, I'm playing both sides of that thing. I've just done it a lot. I've been around it a lot. I've been in real estate for a long time. Real estate is all sales. All real estate agents are salespeople. That's all it is. All acquisition is sales. All disposition is sales. You know what I mean? Like you got to have some natural skills there, my opinion, but go and get a bunch of training. See how it goes. Just saying. So at this point, what's your day-to-day with Keegley Phoenix? Let's just say
I pop in,
right?
You know, and hang out with the team. I
come in with your suit jacket on.
No,
put the suit jacket down.
No, I look exactly the
way I
look.
Walk around with the tie a little bit. Say, yeah, looking good, and then put the suit jacket on.
I high five some people.
Get to lunch.
I ask for some TPS reports. The whole thing. Yeah. No, I go in. I high five people. I'm like, you know, I chat it up. I talk to Hunter. I get the lowdown on the numbers and how things are going. Yeah. The next thing I do is I actually still have a stable of agents that I work. Really? That just won't leave me.
You deal junkie.
I can't help it, right? And so I'm still in the mix and deals. I'm still, you know, watching some of the deals go. I enjoy it too much to be too removed from it. So I do that. I'm always looking at stuff because I'm constantly looking to buy deals as well. So I'm looking at what's going on over there. I'm trying to get the lowdown, trying to get the dispo reps to shoot me something a little quicker than they're sending it out to the whole list, but they don't listen. Because they're like, Jamil, if I favor you, then I'm going to lose this guy who is like waiting for me to send him stuff. So I'm sorry, I can't favor you. Yeah. I got to let everybody have an opportunity. And he's right. Yeah. He does the right thing. They all do the right thing. Just doesn't always help me.
That's not the one I wanted. I wanted this one. Trevor asked, Jamil, how do you calculate repairs for max allowable offer? What percentage of ARV after repair value do you deduct for cosmetic or full gut?
Great question. So, Trevon, here's what I found. Right now, well, first of all, your renovation expenses are going to vary market to market to market, right? So what it costs to do the exact same job in Los Angeles versus Phoenix versus New York is going to be pretty different. However, you can cluster it up, right? So there's clusters of the United States where you do a full gut, or where you can do a full gut remodel at, that means like all the cosmetics, roof, likely some electrical, likely a little bit of plumbing repair, and that's going to run you somewhere in the realm of $60 a square foot. But cosmetic will run you somewhere in the realm of like $40 a square foot. So what have I seen? I've seen about a 20% difference between full gut and cosmetic. So depending on the market, for instance, let's just use Arizona, for example. If I'm going for a cosmetic remodel, I'm offering about 65% of ARV on a cosmetic remodel.
Yep.
If it's a full gut remodel, I'm at 55% of ARV. And now I don't have to go and do the big MAO calculation. I don't got to do, you know, how much is this roof going to cost? How much is that floor going to cost? How much are these cabinets going to cost? I don't got to do none of that.
Yep.
I can just take the ARV, which I teach you guys how to do on every episode of Straight Outta Compton, and I can multiply that by either 65% or 55%, depending on the condition of the house. And how do I know the condition of the house? The pictures. The pictures show me exactly what this is. Does the roof look like it's janky? Okay, it's a full gut. Does the roof look like it's okay? It looks like the bones are good here. It's just cosmetics. Okay, it's 65%. And then I can shoot out a number, lickety split. That's why I was always so quick on your list to be able to grab stuff that you guys were underselling.
You did it with Zillow.
Yeah.
You just pulled up Zillow. And you're like, wait, let's see what's going on. Yeah, I got the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm still like that. I can't help myself. I'll be in like sitting there in the, you know, you guys have seen it. Bobby will catch me. I'll be like in the line somewhere, just sitting there on comping a house. I like it. Yeah. It's just fun.
Yeah. Love it. There was a question about kind of a random one, but are you worried about buying assets if the Harris plan of unrealized gains goes through?
No.
You know, by the way, guys, that's for people that have a net worth
of $100 million or more. Yeah.
Right.
I'm not at all worried about it. I'm not worried about it. I think that politicians say a lot of things to try to garner votes. I haven't seen a lot ever happen in either direction. And so what politicians say in an election cycle doesn't ever bother me, because nobody's here to save me.
Right.
I realize that. Let's
say that again.
Nobody's here to save me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like one of the things, if you didn't catch my mindset chat on Sunday, I talked about the things that I learned at Burning Man. The number one thing at Burning Man is radical self-reliance. It's you, baby. It's all you. And you're the only one who's going to save you. You're the only one who's going to remember that you need these things. You're the only one who's going to know how much water you need to drink. You're the only one who's going to know how much food you're going to need to eat. You're the only one who knows how many pairs of socks you're going to need. You're the only one who's going to save you. Nobody's going to save you. You've got it. There's not a president. There's not a party. Nobody is going to come and save your ass. It's on you to do. And if you think that somebody's going to do it for you, you're just waiting and wasting time. And another summer is going to go by. And nothing will have changed. It's you. And it's been you all along. It's always been you. And you realize that when you put yourself in hard situations like that and there's nobody there to save you. Yeah. And you're like, holy crap, it is really just me. And in the reality of it, as I was sitting there looking at the people there, right, at Burning Man, and, you know, this whole concept, too, of like, oh, my legacy, right? And then you realize that, like, you know, 200 years from now, no one's going to know who the F you are. Doesn't matter how big you are. I love Tupac.
Do you know?
But you know what? My sister's youngest son has no idea who the F that guy is and never will.
I talked to a 21-year-old, didn't know who Biggie Smalls was.
See what I mean?
21 years old.
Had no idea.
No idea.
So the reality is it doesn't matter how big you get, doesn't matter how much of a star you become, it doesn't matter how much money you make. No. In 200 years, nobody's going to know your name.
No, but this is the impact.
Now is the impact.
No, this is the like sharing what you know, sharing, teaching.
But I think is the true way. Now. We do this for our now, and we do it for their now.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is when you teach. That's the common thing. If you're making so much money doing this, why are you teaching it? because the impact that you have to level up people's financial literacy impacts generations.
Absolutely.
That's the impact. That's why you teach, but you can't teach things that you don't know. Well, I mean, some people can, but they're just, it's just, fake. But that's really the huge benefit of being a teacher.
Of course.
You know what I mean? I always had great teachers. I always had great coaches. I always had great mentors. And it was, because of them, Bo and Seamus get to live a certain lifestyle, and they're set here, and they get to build on that if they choose to.
Correct.
But at least they have that option. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's certainly not the money. It's certainly not the name.
No, it's not.
It's the impact.
And in the end of the day, it's actually a spiritual legacy, because Bo's not going to know the name of Brent's mentors, maybe Bo's kids aren't going to know the name of Brent's mentors. They're not going to care, but they're gonna care about their life. They're gonna care about the skills that Dad passed on to them. Yeah. Right? They're gonna care about the work ethic that Dad passed on to them.
Yeah.
And little bits and pieces, sparks of the flame of that mentor who got you to where you needed to get to in order to explode.
Yeah.
Are going to be a part of what your kid's going to pass on to others.
Well, I went to NAU, right? Northern Arizona University, and they had some totally different name of the business school, and it was just renamed because somebody just gave them more money than the person that had the name on the business school for the last 20 years or whatever. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like even if you donate, even if you are really a strong philanthropist at the end of this thing, it doesn't, come on. Who are you teaching? And build up the skills and then teach it to somebody else and watch the impact that you have. That's the best. Yep. It's the best. It's the absolute best. Dispo and deals right now, easier or harder?
Well, there was definitely a slowdown, I would say, over the last, elections are always an interesting time, right? Because you've got buyers that are like, I'm going to wait till the election's over before I, pull the trigger.
Why do they do that?
I don't know.
It's weird, right?
It is weird.
It's like wealthy people get real tight.
Yeah.
Because they're just not sure if those dang Democrats or the dang Republicans are going to get, you know what I mean?
But at the end of the day, right? And when Joe Biden won, I talked to how many people were like, if Joe Biden wins the presidency, I'm leaving. Or if Joe Biden wins the presidency, we're screwed.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave the real estate business. You know what? Joe Biden won the presidency. 2 weeks passed, and that guy was buying houses.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For real. All of his principles, all of the things. I'm not going to be in this country anymore. None of that played. They were just back to their old shenanigans, doing the same old thing.
Yeah.
Right? Because Joe Biden didn't affect them.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it really didn't.
Right.
Right? And it didn't matter whoever it was. It was the same person in the same spot doing the same shenanigans. And so why do people do that? I don't know. It's nutty to me. But I can tell you this. Right now is a great time to acquire.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you've got a little bit of capital behind you, you can slay some deals right now.
I'll tell you what, you could get some ridiculous deals in the West Valley right now.
Big time, dude.
Newer properties, West Valley.
I just got here. Look at this right here.
Everything's for sale.
6909 North 71st Drive. Take a look at this house. Just pick this one up.
6909
North 71st Drive.
Boom.
Okay, agent deal.
Yep. I'll share it with everybody. Boom. Okay.
Stucco tile house.
Yep.
Agent deal.
Yep.
Roughly 3,000 square feet,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing this house needs is an interior paint and the carpet's changed.
Mm-hmm.
The tile is in great condition. The cabinets are oak, so they can be sprayed. So we're gonna spray the cabinets. We're gonna change the countertops. We're gonna flip out the carpets, and we're gonna paint the interior of the house. It's gonna be about $45,000.
Yeah.
What do you think the ARV on that thing is?
Well, this estimate is 530, right?
Yeah.
So
there's a solid 550 right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just bought this for $400,000.
Come on.
Yeah.
It was on the market for 529.
I just bought it for $400,000.
August, it was on the market for 529, and you just bought it for 400,000.
400,000.
They wanted $130,000 more than what you bought it for. And you're going to put 45 in.
Yeah.
And then you're going to refinance once you get it get it all done?
I'm just gonna flip that.
You're just gonna flip it.
I'm just gonna flip it.
Oh,
I'm just,
quick little flip.
quick little flippity do.
Look at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You maniac.
Just I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
It's fun for me.
Yeah.
You know, like this, and that's I stole that deal, right?
Oh,
That's a great house. Great buy. You want to buy it? 410.
There you go. Ah, it's in here. You can't help yourself.
I can't help it.
He can't help himself. He's gonna wholesale it to somebody before he closes. That's what Jamil always says. He's like, pull up this deal I'm buying. He's like, yeah, I sold it. I made like 50 grand. It's like, what? That's awesome.
Super fun. But it really is like what a great, beautiful business we have. What a great opportunity we've got. And don't get in your head about, oh, that thing was listed for $530,000 and I snatched it at 400 grand.
Mm-hmm.
Right? $400,000.
Who brought it to you? I mean, not who, but like, how did you find it?
My ex.
Nice. She just called?
She just called on it. She just called an agent. She, now that she's on her own, doing her own thing, and I'm, we're still the best of friends. And she lived with, one of the bigger wholesalers in the country for 15 years. So she heard a thing or two. And she just decided she was going to get into the game. She's been at it for a month. Guess what she made in her first month? $28,000.
Awesome.
Her first month.
Yep.
Strictly calling agents.
Mm-hmm.
It's insanity.
Calling agents and saying what?
Hey, I'm looking for a house to flip. What do you got?
Yeah.
Anything I can look at that's ugly?
Yeah.
I like them real ugly.
Love it.
And that's it. She's like, and she's not a very talkative. You've met her. You know her well. She doesn't say a lot.
Mm.
So it's not like she's this like gregarious, extroverted human being.
No.
She's quiet, reserved, conservative, but she just gets on the phone and does the thing, and she's killing it. She's absolutely killing it. I'm very proud of her.
I love it. So you're just doing some flips.
Doing my co-living.
Yep.
I'm in the process right now with my sister creating a training on co-living.
Yeah.
To really show people how to do it well.
Awesome.
Do it right, how to do the construction well, where to find the people, the whole thing, right? So I'm in the middle of recording that right now. That'll probably be done. I'd say I'll probably come out to the world in that in January.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really, really believe that we have an affordable housing crisis in this country.
Yep.
And I think that as investors, we can not only profit from the crisis, but we can solve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also working on potentially being able to sell, like, for instance, hear this. Right now, I've got Fidelity Title and a large HOA
mm-hmm.
working out how we can take a single family house
mm-hmm.
and sell each room.
Mm.
All right. So, for instance, my house on Missouri, it's a 6-bed, 6-bath, right?
Yep.
What if I can condo up that house and sell the room and the bath on its own parcel?
Yeah.
Have the common areas be the kitchen and all the living room and the backyard and front yard and the laundry.
Yeah.
And sell a room and a bath for $80,000. That rents for $1,000 a month.
Well, partial ownership has been going on forever.
It's been going on forever.
There's but usually it's like you get a block of time. I saw this happen at a cabin
that's like a timeshare.
Right.
But this would be actually you'd own the parcel.
Right.
So rather than use,
so it's like an apartment.
It's like an apartment. You condo a house.
You have to rezone it.
That's where we're kind of going through. That's what we're going through right now to figure that out. But if we get this thing figured out, dude,
mm-hmm.
how many investors do you know would be like, man, I'd love to buy something that gave me $1,000 a month that cost me $70,000.
Yeah, you buy it and just rent out the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the person
people are doing that by just raising funds, right?
Correct.
I mean, you could do that even if it doesn't pass.
Yeah.
You could just
we
be
can
like,
figure
hey,
out another way to do it. But I want to do this for the actual homeowner.
Yeah, I get it.
Like, what about that person who's like, hey, I'd like to own my room. I'd like to own my room and my bathroom. I don't want to ever leave here. I love this place.
What about deed restrictions for the amount of families that can live in a place? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Phoenix doesn't have anything. Mesa does.
Yep.
So you can't have more than three unrelated people in Mesa.
Yeah.
So the co-living model for unfortunately,
but HOAs have it.
HOAs is a thing.
That's why you're flipping that one.
Yeah, that's why I'm flipping that one.
Yeah.
HOAs we stay away from for co-living.
Yep.
But the city of Phoenix is really, in fact, we're getting our permits in like 2 weeks. because they're like, go do it. We need this. We need the units. And so it's become a real easy situation for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's real. Like, I really believe in the co-living model is where we're headed in the future here.
You got to just hold on to them.
Yeah.
Forever and ever.
Well, until I have 50 grand a month coming in passive income.
Right.
And then I'll sell them as a package.
And then buy something bigger.
Then I'll do something else.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I might.
You don't want the capital gains on that.
I don't know what I'll do.
Yeah, it'd be long-term capital gains. It won't be as bad, but yeah.
I'm constantly evolving. Who knows? I might become a yogi.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see.
What is a yogi?
Just a person who just sits in contemplation all day long.
That's what you're gonna do.
I like it.
Aren't you gonna go into like a cave for like 2 weeks of darkness?
Yeah.
Is that still on the table?
Yeah, I'm still gonna do it.
That's bananas.
Yeah, it's not 2 weeks, it's a week.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, in total darkness, no sensory information whatsoever.
Just to see what's up.
Yeah, apparently
what your brain comes up with?
Around day 3 the lights turn on, and not physically, but like something else goes on, and your body releases like a tremendous amount of neurotransmitters, and you start to have like some pretty transcendental experiences in that, and you get some clarity.
Yeah.
Oh
my goodness.
I like seeing through what's on the other side of this, man. It's like this is cool.
You think it helps you in business?
100%.
Why?
Because I feel like I'm more intuitive.
Yeah.
I'm, in addition to more intuitive, I can make measured decisions. I'm steady. I feel like there were times in my life where I was a reactive person.
Mm-hmm.
You knew me when I would react. Somebody would say something to me, and I would
punch down.
Yeah, I'd be like, you ain't, because I don't like a bully.
Yeah.
Right. So if somebody found me and they would try to bully me, I'd be like, you ain't getting it. You're gonna kick your teeth in.
Yeah.
But I've changed. Right. I've given myself the luxury of not reacting anymore to things. I'm not going to let somebody else dictate to me how I behave. Right. So I think this work that I've been doing on myself has given me the opportunity to respond instead of react.
Is it patience?
It's more than that. Right. It's more than that. It's nervous.
Do you feel like you're
regulation.
not as, is it? Yeah.
It's like legitimate.
Your anxiety is lower.
Yeah. I have physiological control of myself.
Yeah.
And then also perspective, right? I used to see like somebody.
But don't you feel like some of that? I feel like some of that fire, some of that heat, some of that anxiety, some of that like, I don't know if it's a competitive spirit. I don't know if it's just like a fire in your belly. I mean, don't you need that as an entrepreneur? Do you think that you needed that on your way up, and maybe now you don't need it and you can like let that go? You know what I mean?
No, because I can see some of the decisions I made with that fire weren't always the best.
Got it. And
so, had I had more.
You still feel like you have the fire?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
And I think that fire never goes away.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have to be negative.
Right.
Right. It can be a positive fire.
Yeah.
And now, instead of looking at people as, oh wow, what a butthole, or what a terrible person.
Yeah.
I start to actually see them for their oh wow, how did they get like that?
Oh yeah.
And so you get compassionate for people that are doing weird things, Oh yeah. I don't sit there and judge them and blame them and get angry at them now. I'm like, oh my goodness, like, I'm sorry.
I think honestly, wholesaling has helped me a lot in that.
Yeah.
Because you see people in some crazy situations and live crazy lifestyles and the way that they do things, and you're just wondering like what happened. Like this was like a 8-year-old person at some point with like, just stars in their eyes, and they were happy, and they were running around and joyful. Like what happened?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then you could really get into an empathetic and curious place, which I think really helps in our business to be able to really dig in there and see what's going on when you're going direct and you're sitting in those,
you're sitting in that living room or that kitchen
room
table, and you're seeing the culmination of this broken life.
Yeah.
Right. And then you can see you used to see the humanity, right? You don't see
the number one thing they all blame. It's all somebody else's fault.
Well, victim consciousness is like the starting point of what, of where we are in a level of consciousness is like, it's everybody else. Right. Because, it's going to be everybody else until you're like, oh no, it's me.
Yeah.
And then it's like, as soon as you come to the realization, like, oh crap, I'm creating all of this.
Yeah.
then the real growth starts to happen. Then you become a woman, then you become a man, then you become an adult, because you actually can see, like, even things like, even if I just, like, yeah, I did that to you, right? Okay, but like, again, so what?
Yeah.
How you respond to that is really the thing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, maybe Jamil's kind of off the wall and he punched me in the arm today. Oh, what a turkey.
Yeah.
Right? But if you lost your mind and went all crazy over that, well, then, you're just as bad, or if not worse.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think wholesaling can teach you a lot. I think getting and seeing these situations can teach you a lot. And the one thing that you should be able to get out of all of these seller appointments is gratitude.
Yeah. I got mad. I heard a podcast the other day and I got really mad. And it was like I don't know. Sometimes when I get mad, I get really productive. Sometimes I use that kind of like anger to fuel some stuff. But somebody was on talking about wholesalers are bottom feeders.
Yeah. I think David Green said that.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
It wasn't David Green that I heard, but I've heard it from a couple other sources. And I was like, like, where? And I took some time to like calm down, and I was like, what the hell are they talking? They buy all their properties from wholesalers. What are they talking about? Like, oh, they're above thou. You know what I mean? They're these greatest. They're so pious because they do burr strategy, or they do a fix and flip, or they have some rentals or something. It's like, well, where are you getting all these deals?
Right.
And how did you start out? And they all have their origin story. They all have their hero's journey and everything, but all of that is dismissed as to, wholesalers are bottom feeders.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just was like, okay, I can understand the perspective. I can understand that people are angry of what we make. They can, people don't see us as like these, suited and really well kept. You know what I mean? It's usually people's first initial deals that they're doing, and they're just wearing street clothes, going out there with the phone, hammering it out, or doing it from, across the world or whatever else. And people get angry about that stuff, but we can't take that and internalize that. We got to just do the work and sell our deals and take their money.
Yeah. And in all honesty, the reality is the guy who says that wholesalers are a bottom feeder, given the opportunity, that guy would trade places with a wholesaler 7 out of 7 days a week.
The income, for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Great show.
Yeah.
Love you being back in here.
Yeah, man. What a fun. I'm not going anywhere for a minute. Actually, next week, I'll be in Florida for Clever Summit. So, guys, come out to Clever. If you're not already, got a ticket for it, jamil.cleversummit.com. Come check it out. I still got a discount code you can use, or a discount on that link or whatever. Come to Clever Summit. What are you doing this week, Brent?
I'm not sure if I've got a big project. I'll tell you about it off air. It's not officially going to be announced, but working on a big project here. And so I may or may not be doing a Wednesday show. I hope so. I love doing the Wednesday shows, but I might be recording some other stuff. And then just doing deals. Dude. We got a bunch that are closing this week, and
I saw you wrapped the Cybertruck.
How does that look?
Sick.
It looks good, right?
It looks. Have you posted that on your IG yet?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Guys, Brent's gonna take a picture.
We'll take a picture together.
Yeah, he's gonna put it on his IG. He smashed the Cyber. I got one too. I did mine matte green.
Nice.
I like yours better.
Yeah.
I really do. I like what you did with that color. It's great, dude. It looks phenomenal.
Trust me, it wasn't me. It was the guys that were rapping. They're like, "You got to do this." I was like, "All right."
It looks so good. I pulled up. I'm like, "Oh, dude, that was the move. That was the move. The glossy."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
color
cool.
changing.
It's great.
Yeah. Anyway, we love you guys. Thanks for participating in the show. We're here every Monday on Jamil Damji's YouTube channel, Brent Daniels' YouTube channel, Pace Morby's YouTube channel, and Jerry, the Flipping Geniuses YouTube channel. So make sure that you go and subscribe to all of it. We put out, between the four of us, I think we probably put out 15 to 20 videos a week.
Mm-hmm.
So plenty there for you guys to get through.
Also, we haven't asked in a minute, but how many of you guys in the last little while have gone to the Apple Podcast page and left us a review?
That'd be awesome.
It would mean a lot to all of us if you guys would do that. We are the number one rated wholesale show on the platform.
Yeah.
But Apple doesn't know how good of a job we're doing at this if you guys don't tell them. So if we've given you any value, if you've learned something from us, if you've made some money, or If we've inspired you in any way, it takes you a couple of minutes to go over to the Apple Podcast review. Leave us a review. We'd really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week. Go be super productive. Find somebody that will sell their property to you this week. That is your only job. That's all we ask, besides leaving the review for Apple. We love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.